Hey, welcome to Lenny Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy. How you doing? Do me a favor if you're tuning in for the first time, like the video, man. Do a little thumbs up thing there for me. Do that. Oh, hold on, chaos again. Hold on. I always forget to cut that. I either have no sound or too much sound. That's usually what I have. Like the video. Do me a favor. Like the video, man. It will really help me out. Share the video. Also, that helps me out as well. Subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. You can do that by clicking on my face, which is right next to that arrow. I would appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Apparently, it's important to YouTube. That's what they tell me. I don't know. But that's what I hear. So I hope you had a good weekend. Hope everything was good. Sit back, relax, enjoy Lenny Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy with today's guest, my good friend Nick Gaza. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Thanks for being here. Hey, first of all, I hope you had a good Father's Day weekend. If you are a father or single mom, yeah, I said single mom. My mom was a single mom, raised 5 boys, so I know what it's like. I know it's well, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen my mom raise 5 boys, so I know it's difficult. So if you're a mom, a single mom, you deserve a happy Father's Day as well. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know some of you did firsthand. I know some of the Patreon members, Keith Runyon, went out Saturday and went to a German beer place, one of those places that serve beers in like a boot, and he drank maybe 9 of those Dunkels. So he looked happy. He looked pretty happy for Father's Day. So I know he had a good time. I know a few of the Patreon members had a good time. I had a good time. I had a great time. I'll be honest with you. If you follow me on social media, some of you guys already know that. I went out to dinner with my oldest daughter. Anna took me out. Look, there's the picture of Anna right there. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. That's Anna and I at Musso and Frank's Grill last night. She got all dressed up, and we went out fancy Hollywood style, and got ourselves an amazing dinner. Bam! There's the dinner, by the way. Look at that. That was delicious. Wait, hold on. I screwed it up. There we go. Now, there you go. On your right, you will see a big fat bone-in ribeye. That's what I ate for dinner. Just to the right of that is my scotch. Then above that is asparagus. Over to the left is a big fat giant baked potato. And then over there in the corner is Anna's little bitty piece of salmon. So there we go. That's what Father's Day was for me, man. It was great. It was really a wonderful day. It was awesome. It was cool, but I haven't dealt with this yet. I haven't handled this yet. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it eventually. So I spent the night with Anna, hanging out. We went out and had dinner. It was great. It was awesome. It was really great. It was the best Father's Day maybe I've had ever. She was good. She made me feel good. She bought dinner. It was really nice. It was a really nice night. She's very good. My youngest daughter Lily, who's back home in Chicago, not even a phone call, man. Not a phone call. Not a text. I'm shocked. My 17-year-old daughter didn't even contact me. I don't even know how to deal with it right now. I'll be honest with you. I talked to her this morning, and she's all in a good mood and happy. You know, I just bought her a computer. She's like, "Oh, this computer's great. Look what it does." I'm like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And so, yeah, not one little happy Father's Day for my youngest daughter. So I'm going to have to approach that this evening. So I don't know how to handle it. I don't want to be a whiny little baby, but it's one day a year, man. You know, plus have some, you're a kid. Say Happy Father's Day. You just... Yeah, whatever. I'm complaining about it. Anyway, that's what my Father's Day was. It was fantastic. It was really good. A couple things really coming up. Let me cover these really quick before we get going. Oh, also, real quick, we don't have sponsors. I think you know that by now. There's no commercials, none of that stuff. No brought to you by, none of that shit. This show, everything's paid for. The equipment, this sound equipment you're looking at right here, the sound equipment that I left in Tulsa 3 weeks ago and had to pay and have shipped to me this week because I'm an idiot. All this stuff is paid for out of my pocket and supported by the Patreon members and so many more of my followers, subscribers, some viewers, even some of the guests. And if you want to sponsor the show in any way, shape, or form financially, you can do so right there. Go to LennySchmidt.com if you can. And if you go to that page, there's all kinds of different aspects to support the show or throw money at the show. You can do a Venmo, Cash App, all that stuff. Patreon's a monthly service. Is a little bit different. Also, across the board on social media, if you, I changed everything is Lenny Schmidt Comedy. So if you just search Lenny Schmidt Comedy, I come up on every platform everywhere on Lenny Schmidt Comedy, including except Facebook because I can't, or Twitter, except on Twitter because you can't have more than 15 characters. Ugh. So Instagram, Facebook, my website, all of it. If you just type in Lenny Schmidt Comedy search, you will eventually find me. Also, real quick, I want to mention this quick. If you're in the LA area, I just booked a gig here in today, Wednesday night this week. There's a new club in North Hollywood called the Comedy Chateau. It's on Lancashire. It's right near Universal. I will be at that club this Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. So I can actually get you free tickets. Here's the way I'll have it. It'll be on my social media tonight. You can go to Eventbrite. There's a link there, and you just go to the link and you click promo code Lenny. That's it, in caps, Lenny, and you get free tickets for the show. So you come out to that show, and then most of you know, or some of you know, that in 2 weeks I will be in Chicago at Zany's in Rosemont, working with my brother Mike Schmidt, for the first time, and I will be working together in 19 years, and we're going to do the whole week in Rosemont. Also, July 7th, we're going to do this show live, the live podcast, the live version of Lenny Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy on stage, and it's going to be live comics. We're going to have at least 7 or 8 comics coming up, including tonight's guest is going to be there. And a bunch of other guys other people that have been on the show. Petty Vasquez is going to be there. Brian Hicks that was here not too long ago. So you can check that out. That's in Chicago. Tickets for all that stuff are on the Zany's website and my social media. You can see all the stuff that will be updated tonight. So go online and find it out. So there you go. Let's go to the board, man. Let's go. Yeah, let's get to the board right now. We have lots of people watching. Thank goodness you guys are here. All of the usual suspects are here. All the stalkers that are always here. Robin, how are you? Good to see you. Ben Magley, the resident Packer fan that we let hang around. Apparently he's a Bucs fan. I didn't know. You guys, huge win for the Bucs this week. They have 8 more wins to go for a title. Always leave it to Ben Magley to get to sports immediately on this podcast. I like that. So he gets right to it. So good luck to the Bucs. I wish them the best. Although I got to be honest with you, I'm pulling for the Clippers a little bit. I'm pretty excited about the Clippers, what they got going on. That's cool. That was a huge win. They knocked off the Phoenix, number 1 team, right? Is that right? No, not Phoenix. Who they beat? I don't know. They beat the number 1 team. Vince Mulligan is here. Both Mulligans are here. Thank you guys both. Thank you. Brenda Runyon, of course, is here, and Keith Runyon is here. You guys are great. Thank you guys. Mike Garcia, good to see you, my friend. How are you? I will see you live in person in a couple of weeks. We're also doing on the 13th. I'll get you information. We're going to Papa's in Woodridge for dinner. That's a little thing that we do every year. And everybody hit the like button. Please do that for me if you're watching the show. Please make sure you hit the like button. Okay, I guess that's we're gonna get going here. Let's get to it. Things are moving along pretty well. Things are going, no mistakes yet today. I'm amazed. Usually I make quite a few mistakes. Not today. Folks, your first guest, I've known him for many years. Long time. We go way back. I don't know, 20, 30 years. He's a comic. He's also a producer. I've worked for him when he produced a show in Indiana. He's been on television. He's got a lot of acting credits. He's a really great guy. He's been around for Chicago for a long time. Very funny guy. In fact, let's take a moment and take a look at my good friend, the one and only Nick Gaza right here. This is Nick Gaza live. Well, not live, but whatever.
Get out of this chair. Did you yell at your kids when you were growing up? No, you didn't. Yeah. You ever hit them? Nope. They live with your ex-wife? Don't lie. Never yelled or hit? Never, ever, ever. Would you like to talk to a lawyer first? Are you the wife, the mother? Yeah? Did you do the yelling and the hitting? He put him to sleep. This lady goes, this is Texas. Come here, Junior. I want to talk to you for a second. Did you take out the garbage? No. Yeah! Just to put him to sleep. And he looked at me like I was an idiot when I asked, did you hit your kid? No, I never hit my kid. What kind of sick person hitting kids? I lovingly put them to sleep. Come here, bring the twins.
Folks, that's the one and only Nick Gaza. Let's bring him. Now he'll be live, semi-live, digitally live. Folks, here he is. Look, Nick Gaza.
Hey.
Hey. Hey.
Hey. What's up, Lenny? Well, you said you made no mistakes. Well, here's your first one tonight.
What?
Bringing me on.
Oh, that's all right. Well, that remains to be seen, my friend. You have no idea how many mistakes I've made in the show. Good to see you, buddy.
I haven't seen that clip in a while, and it's always amazing. As you know, you ask questions as a comic, and you generally get a lot of the same answers. Never heard anybody say, "I put my kid to sleep."
I know, that was hilarious. I was watching a couple of your things tonight. I had to go with that one. I like that one because it was off the crowd. You know what I mean? Like everything else is kind of, and that was your corporate video, the cleaner one. So you get a couple of different tapes. But once you started working the crowd, I love the twins line. That was the best. So I had to keep that. So I threw it in there.
That's pretty rare for me to work clean too.
I know, because I saw the other tapes. there's a tape from the left from Peoria. I go, this looks good, and like 2 minutes in, I go, I don't think I should use this tape. I don't know if I should.
Do we have to be clean tonight? Are you?
No, we're flexible. We can do pretty much whatever you want. We don't care. YouTube doesn't care. They don't care. I don't make enough money for them to care. You know what I mean?
To care.
Like, yeah, if I made money.
Unfortunately, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, familiar with that scenario? Yeah, if you don't make money, that's how they get you.
You work relatively clean, right? Normally, or no?
I can. I do both because I do the ships. So we have to do some shows squeaky clean, and then you have to do other shows not squeaky clean. Those late night shows,
if you had your preference, how would you work?
If I had my preference, I would not work clean. But there's more money clean. You know what I mean? Like I got two albums out, they're all clean.
Oh, really? See, that's one of the things that really is driving me nuts nowadays is the whole push for clean comedy.
Yeah.
And I would like to bring funny comedy back. I think that's a lot more important.
Yeah, I think it's important as well, man. I do. But you just go ahead.
The big, dry bar comedy now is the big, I guess I haven't done it. But it's a club where they serve no alcohol.
Right.
And then, yeah, to me, that's like going to a whorehouse and jerking off. It really makes no sense.
Yeah.
Let's go out to a nightclub, not have any drinks, and see some okay comedy.
Yeah, I did a dry bar back in March. So I've never done one, but I did it in March, and I walked in, and in between shows, I go, hey, can I get a drink? Can I get what do you got back there, like a scotch or something? They're like, no. And they make these craft cocktails. No, but we have a fly. Yeah. I go, really? What's that?
Right.
It's syrup and sugar, and it's all, you know what I mean? It's all crap. It's a kid bar. Right. It's like kid drinks.
Yeah. We have the H2O. That's a delicious drink that everybody has.
They should put that on. That's the really good idea. Enjoy the H2O. It's delicious here in Provo.
Right. With a double O. So anyways, yeah, I you know what? I always got a lot of crap for, not working clean. And I don't know. I just how my mind works. I just don't think clean, I guess.
Right.
I'm not opposed to it. It's not like I don't have any clean material, but I don't purposely try to be clean.
Right. Well, a lot of guys, but there are a lot of guys that are like that. Look at Doug Stanhope, Jimmy Schubert. Those guys are never going to work clean, and they don't want to work clean. I've had Jimmy on this show, and he wasn't clean on here, but we've talked about it. He doesn't have to do. I started working clean because of cruise ships. That's why I started doing it. And I started doing cruise ships because they got divorced and they had 2 kids. So, you know what I mean?
So you just wanted to get away.
I wanted to get away. I had to pay my lawyer. And then they go, you work clean. I go, I am really not in a work clean mood.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, after that.
Yeah, but then you got us. And then once I started working clean for a couple of years, I realized I could do it more. But the 2 albums, like when I did 2 albums for 800 Pound Gorilla, they're both clean. And they even told me to go, you can do whatever you want. We don't care. But we do. I will tell you this: if you go clean, you will stream more and make more money on Sirius XM. So I go, well, I got a lot of clean material. It would be kind of stupid for me not to do a clean album. So I did one, and then I did a second one like 10 months later. And
oh wow,
yeah, they're good. I mean, they're great. They're good material, but and it's not even the swearing. It's the content. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's discussions about drugs, or when I was younger, I did a lot of made a lot of mistakes when I was young. I
Right.
did a lot of drugs when I was in my
Sure.
20s, and I used to tell those stories. You can't tell those stories in those shows, or story when I got divorced and started meeting and dating and hooking up with women again. You can't tell any of those stories on the ships, and it's not.
Really?
It's not it's not a dick joke. Well, not in a clean show. Like you can't talk. Well, you can't talk
Right.
about sex in a clean show, at all. Like you can't.
Not
you
at
can't-
all.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, and they're real strict.
That's
about
why.
it.
That's why I am landlocked.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you're like, I don't need the ships. I'm good. I think I'll be all right.
I'd like to. I'm supposed to go on a cruise next month. My aunt loves going on cruises, and she has no kids. So I take like 3 cruises a year with her because she's 82, and I really don't, she doesn't want to go by herself, and I don't want her to go by herself.
Right.
But it'd be fun to work the cruises because the money is decent, and it seems to me. Then again, I'm staying in a suite, so I don't know really how they treat you guys.
Oh, wait. Yeah. We're
I
not.
know some of them you're down in the bottom of the ship. I think you actually have to row every once in a while,
Yeah,
right?
I row on Thursdays. That's the deal.
Yeah, see, I'm lucky. I'm a drummer. At least I'd be able to hit the big drum to keep the guys rowing in tune.
See,
But,
damn you. I hate you guys. I always hated the drummer. Get the
Right.
easy end of that.
So yeah, I don't know what it would be like to work the ships, but I enjoy going on a cruise.
What cruise are you going on?
We're going on the Celebrity Edge.
That's
out
the
of,
one that just got tagged.
They
Couple COVID.
they just sent it back because 2 of the workers tested
Yeah.
positive, I believe.
Yeah, and then they changed a bunch.
Who
We got
knows?
in fact, we got the email about it. They just they changed all the rules, the structure rules. We're getting new structure rules every day. That's the only bad thing for me about the ships. There's a lot of rules on a ship, and I'm not fond of rules. You know what I mean?
See, that's what I don't get. Most comics aren't. That's why we're comics.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
We couldn't draw in the lines, really.
Right. Yeah, we were all over the place as kids, and so we made that a marketable skill, and that's now we got a job where they tell you to rein it in. I'm like, okay, that seems like that's weird, but I tried to embrace the working clean thing. Like one thing I did do was like I kind of considered it a challenge to write clean material about subjects I wanted to write about. Because I didn't want to just go up and tell puppet jokes. You know what I mean? I want to find
Right.
a way to talk about divorce and relationships and stuff to where it's like, have you ever seen, I bring this analogy a lot because I have 2 daughters. They're teenagers now, but when they were little, we went to all these movies and live kid shows and all kinds of stuff that was entertainment for kids. And if you go see
Right.
something like The Wiggles, I've seen The Wiggles a bunch of times. And they
Always
sneak-
bragging, Lenny.
I know. Name dropper. The Wiggles sneak in little jokes just for the parents, and the kids don't
Sure.
get it. And when I saw the Wiggles, man, I laughed my ass off a lot, and I'm like, oh man, that was great. And they just snuck in a lot of cool stuff. So I kind of had that
Right.
perspective going in. I'm like, if I can like hide it, and cleverly sneak it out instead of hitting them over
Right.
the head with a hammer. So then it came a challenge. So I just work harder on that aspect of it. And then honestly, I needed the work. That's why you ended up on the ships. That's why you ended up working clean.
It's much nicer that you said hit him over the head with a hammer as opposed to hit him over the head with a dick joke.
Sure. Yeah. Well, hammer dick
no
jokes.
one
Really,
No one wants that.
6 of 1. No, not really.
One girl I knew liked it, but that was about it.
See, now you couldn't talk about that girl in the clean show. That's all I'm saying. That you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, like I said, I part of me would love to do that work, but the other part is like I just don't have the discipline. That's the thing I love most about stand-up is the live performance of you never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah,
I mean, I have an act,
Yeah.
but if something goes off, you just go off and you run with it.
Well,
you can't do that.
the clip I play to you, it's a perfect example.
Right.
You know what I mean? I say this constantly. I say it. People are probably sick of me saying this. I think every stand-up show is its own live, living, breathing thing, and I have an
Right.
outline when I go up online too. But sometimes
Sure.
I'll go up, do the first 2 jokes, and then never get back to it. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
you get so far off, and then you're like, okay, now what am I gonna do?
Right.
So, so the live aspect of it, yeah. So when you're handcuffed with the not swearing, I'll tell you what, working live, that's where I have my most trouble. I'm being clean, dude. Is working the crowd because I got to be my natural
Sure.
instinct is to go, what the fuck, just like real quick or
Right.
sit the fuck down,
Right.
something like that. So.
Right.
I got to be real careful when I throw a line away off the crowd because that's where I get in trouble. As a reference when that's not in the act because I'll know the material, the clean material. I'll go, okay, I'm doing this clean set tonight, and I'm not going to
Right.
deviate from that. But when I work with kids a lot, so it's easier when I talk to kids. I always say this, because the rooms, they're comedy rooms. Sometimes they're big, small, dark, whatever. If I can see kids in the room, I'm okay. Then being clean is easy for me. It's actually pretty simple. But if I don't see kids, like there's certain princess ships I've done or other clubs, or like a long crossing ship, like to Hawaii or something like that, or over to Europe. If there's just adults and I'm supposed to be clean, that's where I make my mistakes. That's where I'm like, oh shit, ooh, it just slips. Yeah. So the kids.
Yeah, I've never worked with a kid in a crowd. That would actually, I was at a club one time and I looked and someone had brought their I want to say it was like 12 or 13. And my first thing out of my mouth was, get that fucking kid out of here. This is a nightclub show. Yeah. This is a show for adults.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, they don't. I used to teach kids. Well, when I had kids, a lot changed, dude. They went to school. I got involved with the school, and then I was teaching at the school, and I did a lot of functions. So I was always hosting something in front of kids, and that's how I kind of got used to it. So,
well, I had a radio show, so I could be clean.
Right.
But to me, it's like, when I'm on stage and it's a comedy show, I don't know, maybe just because, I've only worked nightclubs pretty much. So that's,
but also
I never had to restrain myself.
On a radio show, you still have some freedom to talk about certain subjects that you can.
I could talk about anything as long as the language wasn't there.
Yeah, that's the
my
big
radio
difference.
Show.
Yeah.
Right. I have a feeling that I'd be helicoptered off the ship in about an hour and a half.
You'd be one of the. You'd be one of the 3 or 4 stories. There's only 3 or 4 stories of someone that really screwed up bad. You know what I mean? And you know him by name.
Right.
Did you hear the Nick Gaza story? Oh, the helicopter out of the Bahamas? Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Right, yeah. And then he had his ass hanging out the helicopter to say goodbye. Yeah,
dude, he was mooning everybody. It was really awkward.
Yeah. When he shit on the ship from the helicopter, that was too much.
That seemed like a little much because of the propellers and it flew everywhere. People on the pool deck. It was kind of disgusting. You know what I mean?
And that's why they call it the poop deck.
That's what they say. Hey!
Come on, folks.
Come on, folks. These are jokes. Keep with me. What are you doing?
These are jokes. I know you're out there.
So how you doing, man? How's it? I mentioned on the promo. How's your heart? You had the surgery, man. You look good.
I did.
You look great.
Thanks. It's really sad. I lost in about a year. I mean, I had the surgery last August, but before then I had lost weight. So altogether, in about a year and a half, I've lost 100 pounds. Wow. And when you lose 100 pounds and you're still fat, that's pretty sad.
This is going to take forever.
Right. I know. Just give up already. Yeah. I'm doing all right. It's kind of a mental thing now too, because you think a lot about dying, or So I don't know.
Yeah, dying freaks me out now. I think about it all the time.
Well, the weird thing, the weirdest thing of the whole thing, as I was driving myself, my girlfriend was with me, but I was driving the car to go get surgery, and I'm literally telling myself, I truly could be dragging myself to my death, and I had to just come to grips with that. I mean, I really, and there was a moment where you're like you're driving by the tree, like that could be the last weeping willow, when they talk about stop and smell the flowers.
Yeah.
It's like I can't stop. I got to be I got to be at this surgery, but that could be the last stop sign I see or whatever. It was a weird feeling.
Yeah, that's almost surreal, man. It brings you back. It makes you think.
Because I know they're gonna they stop your heart and you're put on a heart lung machine for a while.
Right.
For a couple hours.
How long was your heart? Yeah. How long was that? How long was it?
Surgery was 8 hours.
Wow, man.
8 hours on the table.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal.
Yeah. That's insane. I have tremendous respect for surgeons, man. I couldn't do anything for 8 hours except sleep.
Honestly, that was the. I'm actually my next thing. I'm thinking about writing a book called "From the Heart," a humorous look at open heart surgery.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think because a lot there. When you look back, there's a lot. As a comic, we just always think funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People I used to talk about in my act, people always say, is it hard to be a comedian? No, it's hard not to be a comedian. For me, I say the wrong shit at the right time all the time.
Right.
And one of my favorite things was I love fucking with people who are in authority, who are not used to being fucked with. And surgeons, no one messes with those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I remember one time we were sitting there, and uh, I was sitting there I'm with the same girl for 30 years or more, but we're not married. So sometimes I call her my wife, sometimes I call her my girlfriend. So this was about, I don't know, maybe a month after the surgery. We're sitting there, and I say to the surgeon, I said, "Hey, is it okay? Can I have sexual relations with my wife?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, you can do that." And I waited a beat, and I said, "Well, how about with my girlfriend?" So, and they don't know how to, they're not used to, no one fucks with those guys. They're not used to people busting their balls. And
Right.
that's literally my favorite thing to do.
Oh, that's the best. That's just hilarious. I had a concussion years ago. I got hurt shooting an episode of Bones. I got hurt really bad where I hit my head on the
Oh,
concrete
wow.
floor in Fox. And it's a long story, but I ended up flying back to Chicago, and then I didn't feel good. Went and saw a doctor, and they go, "Yeah, you're messed up." And they were gonna have brain surgery and all this stuff. And I saw this guy who was like the best brain surgeon in like the Midwest, and he happened to
Right.
be there doing a residency or something. But he was this deadpan, monotone. He's everything he said. He just said like this, and he had no sense of humor. And I tried to make him laugh, and
Right.
he would never laugh. I could never get him to
Right.
laugh, and he was just really everything was
Right.
like this. So I went in to go for the final follow up, and the way I got hurt was. There was a stunt where I get killed and I fall back. And when I did the stunt, we did the walkthrough. They didn't throw the mats, so I just flew back on the ground and hit
Oh
hit
my
my head on
God.
the concrete. So I threw myself back and fell on the ground. So I told him this, and he checks me out and stuff. He goes, "You're not gonna need surgery. I think you're gonna be okay, but you should take these pills." And he gave me like ibuprofen and Vicodin. It's the worst headache I had
Right.
in my life.
Right.
It was just it stayed forever for months, weeks. And he goes,
Right.
"That's good. Your head is going to hurt for a long time, but when you come see me every few weeks." So I went and saw him next time I go to Illinois, and he goes, "All right, well, let's check your motor skills and a few things." So he's walking me through this test, and he goes, "Okay, put your
Right.
hands out to your side. Now touch your nose. Now just stand on one foot. Okay, that's good. Now throw yourself backwards and slam your head into the concrete floor." And I looked at him for a second, and he just went. He
Right.
went. It was like he told this little joke.
That was a big joke.
Yeah, he was the most serious dude I ever met in my life. He was great. He was so proud of himself. And I'm like, dude, that was
That's funny.
hilarious, man. Really good work. I didn't even see it coming.
Funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
That's funny. After about 5 days being in intensive care, had not shit, as opposed, you realize in life when there's two things they talk about. They say, "Oh, that scared the shit out of me," or people say that scared me shitless, right?
Okay, all right.
Well, I was the latter of the
Okay.
two. After surgery, and so I think maybe on my 6th or 7th day in ICU, they decided to give me a suppository, and so I'm laying there, and it wasn't the doctor, but I like to say it was a doctor because it was just some, nurse or whatever.
No, they
But
got
as
people
they're-
for that, man.
Yeah, right. I know, but
No
I
surgeons
really wish it
giving
was
you
the doctor. In the story, I like to say it was the doctor because
Right.
he's a better victim.
Sure.
But in real life, the guy who's shoving the suppository up my ass, I start giggling and laughing, and he goes, "I'm sorry, am I tickling you?" And I said, "No, I'm just thinking that you probably owe about $300,000 in student loans, and I just got high throughout my entire high school and college career, and you're the one putting his finger on my ass."
What did he say? What did he say? Anything?
Yeah, he's laughing. Yeah,
You're
what's he
killing
gonna
me.
say? He's got his finger, he's sticking stuff up my ass. What's he gonna say?
You got a point there.
Yeah.
Okay, relax.
Right. Quit
Who's-
giggling. This is
who's got
never
the
gonna
la-
work if you keep
who-
giggling.
Who's got the last laugh now?
Right. Right.
Oh man. So
It was a lot of stuff, that happens that you just don't, when most people drive by a hospital, you never think of what's going on in there. I
Yeah.
never did,
right.
until you're in there.
Yeah, it was and it was open heart surgery, right? Did they replace a
Yeah.
valve or what do they do? They put in some
I had quintuple bypass surgery.
ooh. Wow.
5. Yeah.
That's oh my god, that's
Right.
brutal. That's top of the list.
So,
you can't get any
yeah,
higher than that,
I don't
right?
think I honestly don't think they do any more than 5.
No, I've heard of quadruple. I just never heard of I've never
Yeah,
heard of the
quintuple. Yeah.
dude.
Another thing I said to the surgeon after, because he originally told me they were going to do 3 bypasses.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, this is like, as I'm out of it and we're having a meeting and the surgeon sits down and comes in and I go, And I get real serious. I go, hey man, and then they're not even used to people saying hey man to them. You know what I mean? Everything is
Sure.
Doctor, and
Everybody's
hey
very,
man.
yeah.
I'm like, hey man, we need
Excuse
to
me,
talk.
doctor.
Right, right. So I'm like acting all pissed off. I go, hey man, we need to talk. And he goes, what's wrong? I go, hey, listen, I agreed to the triple bypass, but who the hell told you you could shorten my penis? And the room just the nurses and everybody loves it because no one gets to talk to him like that.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me. Did you ever go overseas or no? For
not
the
for the
troops or
troops.
anything?
No, I have not. No.
I went to Afghanistan 3 times, and I remember one of the trips I was there was a 2-star general in the audience, and that's really high up there. 2-star general literally they're like rock and roll guys. They have their own secret service detail that travels with them, and it's some serious shit. And I remember I was just making fun of him. He was sitting in the front row, of course, and I just was banging and booming him left and right. And I had this colonel come up to me afterwards, who was part of his entourage. And the guy couldn't have been, he's got a grin a mile long, and he's shaking my hand. And he goes, I got to tell you, you got to say things to the general that I'm not allowed to even think. And I thought that was cool. So
yeah,
it's always cool. Fun. It's always fun to punch up, and get someone who's not, never is a target. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To see the reaction, and even the people, like you said, guys like that around you that are just sitting there going,
oh yeah, right,
all jacked and like, this is the best day ever.
Yeah, this is the best day of my life. Yeah, I wanted to say shit to that guy forever, and I had to wait.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That's what I love about stand-up. So that's the fun that going back to working the crowd and all that stuff. That's what really makes live, like you said, every live performance. When I tell people every show, I might have the same act, but every show is different.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and I do a lot of crowd work. I do a lot of crowd work too.
Right. Yeah, but that's always more fun to me too, especially when you're in those stages where you're doing a lot of shows. Like when we're on ships, we're doing 10 to 15 shows a week on ships. So if you're doing a lot of weeks in a row, I mean, I used to put it on my social media. I would do like 2 months, and I would be like, okay, that's what is that? It's 10 or 15, it's just 45. I just did 92 shows in the last whatever weeks. So, and I know guys that just do their material. And man, I would hang myself. I'd be bored. I'd be miserable. First of all,
I know.
It doesn't feel very creative, but also, man, you would just get bored every night doing the same thing. You know what I mean? It would just drive me crazy.
Yeah. I had a lot of times people suggest, why don't you do like a one-man show kind of thing? It's like I would go nuts if I had to do the exact same act every night.
Yeah. I did a one-man show for a while, but only for like a weekend. I did weekends, a weekend run, a couple weeks in a row, 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
But I gave myself room in the show to be able to change the stories a little bit. I didn't work the crowd though. Cool. Yeah, it was like it made it a little bit better and easier, but it also made me realize I don't want to do a one-man show again because I just got bored. You know what I mean? I was like, good, bored. I mean, I was
that's the same. I live in Chicago, and it's like people aren't just go do plays because there's so many great theaters. It's like I just can't do that same thing every night.
Yeah.
Even though my act is, the act is the act, and it's the same. You could always just go off on a tangent, like you said. Sometimes you start, and 2 minutes into it, you're completely left the act, and you're doing stuff, something else.
Yeah, but a lot of that comes too from if you like when you get around. You've been around as long as like you and I have been around. That's you start a show one way, and then it takes a completely different direction. You find yourself doing material you haven't done in like 6 years, or something. You've been reminded. You remember, shit, I could do the U-Haul thing. Here's perfect, and you throw out the U-Haul, and then it's really fun for you because you're rediscovering an old bit, and then you go. Right. Sometimes you bring new life to it, and then you go, "What? I should bring that back in the act. That actually worked."
Right.
You know what I mean? So so that's kind of cool. That makes it energetic on stage for you. And that's what's actually it's kind of one of the reasons I got into stand-up was to do that type of thing every night. Was just that's really creating on stage, kind of,
Right. Well, that's when people are really fans of yours. Like, there's a club I work in Ann Arbor. Do you work the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase?
No, I haven't been out there, and I would love to get out there, but I haven't.
It's a great club, probably one of the best clubs in the country.
Cool.
And the owner, Roger, he's the kind of guy, he's so into comedy he'll come up to you after your show, like on a Thursday night, and go, "Hey, you didn't do this, the one bit or whatever." You're like, "Wow, this guy was really paying attention." And he actually, he'll request that you do it. And it's like, "Well, I haven't done that in years, but if you're making a request and you're the owner, I'm going to do it for you the next show."
Oh, that's cool. That's I've heard
Yeah,
about that.
I mean, it's just like you said, there's just sometimes, you'll think of a bit you haven't done in a long time because someone in the audience will say it, or people actually request that you do it.
Right.
I was working with Dom Irera, who's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah, I love
and someone in the audience came up to me and they said, "Hey, you think he'll do his 'I don't do you' guy?" That character he does.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't do you. And I said, and he was sitting at the bar. So why don't you go and ask him? I don't think he does it all the time. I said, why don't you go and ask him? And the guy goes, "You think that's okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." What comic wouldn't take that as a compliment, like someone to come up and say, "Hey, I saw this bit years ago. Would you do it for me tonight?"
Right.
It's like I've seen a band. You want to see their greatest hits sometimes, right?
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's good. I get a lot of people to come up and ask. There's a club I did in Huntington Beach. It's just a one nighter. It's this little Huntington Beach. It's funny. Ironically, it's a Bears club. It's like a Bears. They show Bears games on Sundays, and they don't do comedy anymore right now. But it's a pub. It's an Irish pub, and the bartenders, they're from Ireland. There were two guys, one guy from Ireland, one guy from England. I mean, it was hardcore Irish. And there's a bit I do about my kids. About my kids being grounded that the bartender loved. And every time I walk in, he'd serve dinner. And he'd go, "Hey, are you going to do the thing with your daughter?" I go, "Yeah, if you want me to do it, man, I'll do it for you, no problem."
Sure.
So I would do the bit. And I would never do that bit anywhere else. I just stopped doing it.
Right.
But when I was there, I did it every time. And every time I would do it, he had that big bell for the tips. He was just so jacked. I'm like, I'll do it for you, Mickey. His name was Mickey, of course, Irish guy.
Yeah.
Just he looked like a hooligan. They were hooligans. They were a great guy.
Right. Yeah. They all are hooligans. Have you ever worked Ireland or no?
No.
Have you
I've
ever
been to Ireland.
No?
I've been there on a ship once, but I only spent an afternoon in Dublin. That's all. Just one afternoon in Dublin.
I worked a week in Cork, Ireland, and it was just the coolest gig.
Oh man, that sounds great.
And yeah, it was literally like right out of a movie. Every night, the club was on the main drag, and then the hotel was there also. It was like 2 doors down from the club, and every night there would be, and I swear I'm not lying, there'd be guys fist fighting each other, like I mean really just knocking each other senseless in the street. There'd be people singing, another group, and then there'd be literally a couple fucking, literally.
Right.
All,
really?
in less than a block.
Right.
Every night. It was amazing.
Wow. How were the
shows? And they loved Americans there.
The
shows
really?
are fantastic.
That's great.
You know what? I get a lot of, because I was working in England. I was there for about 2.5, 3 months. So I flew out. Peter Berman actually got me a gig. You know Peter, right?
Yeah, I do. God, I haven't seen him in years. Yeah.
Peter hooked me up with a gig. He was already in England. I came out and I had just enough money. I had booked enough work to pay for my airline ticket. And for like a week, we were all, me, him, and Todd Sawyer were sharing a flat. All three of us kind of pitched in for this flat.
Right.
So I had booked just enough work to stay for like a week and a half. And I ended up getting so much work, I stayed for like 2.5 months.
Really? That's cool.
Because they, I was, if I told you to go become famous in Arizona or Iowa, that's as big as it is. It's not that hard to get some heat on you. You know what I mean? It's a small place,
right.
As opposed to America. Plus, I am the typical American that they think of. Big, fat, loud. I used to wear a lot of hip hop clothing. All colorful clothing, not because I was a hip hop guy, but they make 4 fucking X, and it fit me. Yeah, so I wore a lot of colorful. Right. I stood out from a block away. You could see me, and everybody else was in drab, small.
Yeah.
So it was. If you ever get the chance to go, it was really spectacular.
I would love to work a crowd over there, man. I bet that would be cool. That would be really.
They were cool, very cool. And from Chicago, and it sounds like it's made up, but they would literally come up to me and talk to me about Al Capone.
No, I got that too. I was only in Dublin for I 5 hours in Dublin. The thing I learned was I needed way more time to spend in Dublin. It was so Everywhere I went. I'm like, first thing I went and got a pint, and I went and got a good Irish, like a chicken curry, which was great. But everywhere I went, somebody strikes up a conversation. You're talking about Chicago, and it was Al Capone or Michael Jordan. That's what I got constantly. It was Al Capone, Michael Jordan. But yeah, they bring up the Capone thing a lot, dude.
A lot,
a ton.
Yeah, I
and
know.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
and I go, I'm like, I don't really remember that time. I go, but my grandmother, I remember my grandmother used to tell me stories because she used to be, she used to hang out in the clubs. She used to tell stories about hanging out in the clubs back around the times when you weren't supposed to hang out in clubs. I mean, she loved it. Yeah. So I would mention that a couple times. Yeah, it was great. But they loved it. They eat that stuff up. But man,
and then didn't your grandma hang out with Michael Jordan too?
Yeah, she did. She covered all the bases, brother. She doesn't mess around. You know what I mean?
She wasn't supposed to hang out in those clubs, but she did too.
She did. She found a way. She's good. But I gotta be the thing in Ireland. Ireland, they're so nice. I can't believe how nice everybody was. They were just
the nicest people I ever met in my life. Honestly.
Yeah. I want to. My daughter wants to take me there. We're talking about taking a trip. We were talking about doing it this year, but obviously, that got thrown to shit. But maybe next year. We're talking about flying out there and spending a week or something.
They couldn't be the lady at the hotel. Her brother owned the comedy club, and literally every night it'd be, Nick, is the pillow to your liking? Is the comforter enough? Are you cold? Are you warm? It was ridiculous.
Dude, that's so sweet and refreshing.
Fell over it was nice.
Dude, you never got that treatment at a Yoder one nighter, did you? When you were going into like a bowling alley?
No. Yeah. Are the roaches to your liking?
The motel night. Are you okay with that peephole in the bathroom? Is it good for you? Do you like it?
Yeah.
I can raise it a little bit more.
Right. Yeah. Where you had to take the light bulb from room to room because there's only one working light bulb.
Really good. That's fantastic. Do you want another piece of carpet? We can give you a piece of carpet if you like.
Right. Yeah.
I guess we can.
Yeah. This one's not as sticky as that one.
Yeah. Dude, I was gonna say, every carpet in those hotels.
We've all been in hotel rooms. I've been in hotel rooms on those gigs where you don't take your shoes off.
Yeah.
I'm not walking on that floor.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine was just on the town. It was this girl Jessica was a friend of mine. I can't remember her last name off the top of my head because my train of thought's off. But she took pictures. She took pictures and sent them to the hotel people complaining. And even then, they were like, she sent a bunch of pictures. She laid a towel from the bathtub for the bathroom to the bed. She wouldn't walk on the floor. You know what I mean? It was just disgusting. And then when she left, she showed the hotel manager. She lifted the towel and like Velcro, the towel came off the ground. You know what I mean? And she took all these pictures and sent them to the corporate and complained and said, this is what your hotel was like. And they just sent her a message back that said, thanks for staying with us. That was it. I swear to God. Yeah. They don't care.
I read this the other day that 93% of all hotel rooms have semen in them.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is 100% of it is mine. How do I get around that much?
That explains why you needed the heart surgery. That makes complete sense.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let me go to the board, man, because people are asking questions.
All right.
So I'm gonna get some questions out for you. Let's see what the board says. Usually, here we go. Okay, here's one. Oh, Brenda Runyon. Brenda Runyon types in more questions than anyone. She's really good at this, and she's very sweet. So she always has some good ones. Here's one. Where's your favorite place to perform, Nick?
Oh, wow. Well, starting out, I mean, Zany's downtown was one of the coolest rooms when I was young. I started out in comedy in '86. So, that kind of was my home club, Zany's downtown. But then I didn't work for them for, most of the years. Once I moved to LA, I would say the Ice House was another great room in Pasadena. I really love the Ice House.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But, and now I got to tell you, Michigan has got some great rooms. The Michigan people really come out and laugh.
Yeah.
They're not politically correct. I could do whatever I want. I do a lot of like one-nighters in Michigan they're like in people's basement, these bar basements. And you'll walk in on a Thursday night and there's 250 people in there, the whole town, of a town of 500.
Right.
And that's just really fun to work because they all know each other and they're all just ready to have a good time. So, I like kind of cool. blue collar crowds.
There were some, I'm going to find another question. There were some summer clubs.
I never liked
Go ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead.
never like a fan of the improv and all that when I lived in Hollywood and I would work there. It
Yeah.
always seemed to me people were just waiting for someone famous to come in. They didn't really care how funny the one guy. If you weren't famous, they really didn't care.
Right.
That's what it seemed like to me.
Well, these LA crowds are a little tougher, man. They're a little jaded and a little way more. First of all, politically correct to the 10th.
Well, that's yeah. Now, even now, I mean, the clubs in Chicago, it's the young kids. They're, they get so upset about, you say anything, and
Yeah, they get really.
I
upset.
work now. I work a lot of like lodges, like Moose Lodge, and
Yeah.
like those men's lodges. Those I love those crowds, guys.
That's cool.
People 45 to 70.
Yeah.
It's funny. I used to, as we get older, someone who was, 65 or 70, you thought, oh my God, that's a really old guy. They listen to like, 23 Skidoo and all that. And you realize these guys were in Vietnam and they were smoking weed and they're, protesting. And that's actually a hipper crowd now. A 60 some year old person is a pretty hip person.
Yeah, that's one of the things you learned on cruise ships. Like when I early in my stand up career, I was like, well, I don't want to do cruise ships because there's so many old people on there. But now all the old people, I've done rooms with a whole bunch of people that are in their 60s, 50s, maybe even a little bit of 70s. And you're right, they were teenagers. They grew up on George Carlin, man. They grew up on Richard Pryor. Right. That's a whole different vibe.
Right.
They saw the disco and punk rock and all those things happen. The 60s. They grew up in the 60s.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my mom, who was going to be 80 this year, I remember her watching Saturday Night Live when it first came out, and just that was the cool thing to watch.
Yeah, my mom was my mom's the same way. Well, my mom's the one that turned me on to comedy. She was a huge fan of huge George Carlin fan, Bob Newhart, Flip Wilson. She loved Flip Wilson and Richard Pryor. She loved all that stuff. But she used to watch Soap when it came out early.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that show, the sitcom?
Sure. First openly gay character.
Yeah. Billy Crystal. She wouldn't let me watch that show early on, and eventually she kind of gave in and let me watch it. But she loved that show. And that show, that show was racy. It broke a lot of lines, when it was out there.
It sure did. Yeah, it was a really good show.
All right, let me go to another. But I'm with you on that because also, you know what else is cool? Is similar to that. I remember when I used to do South Dakota, the Dakotas a lot. They have supper clubs out there. And it's and it's a similar thing to like a lodge, or it's the same people. It's a small town, like 500 people, and they cram 200 in there, and they're waiting for the show every week. They can't. They're there every week. They can't wait. Everybody knows. Bartenders know. Billy, sit down. They all know. They all know each other. Right. Yeah, but you're right. Those people are great crowds. They just want to laugh. And you're right. They work 60, 70 hours a week, busting their ass out there. They're on farms or whatever, and then they just want to relax and have a good time. Man, that's a good crowd. That's a great crowd.
Who were you working for at those out there? Because I remember doing like Rapid City, South Dakota, and that was it.
I did. There were
Dave Tribble?
No, there was a couple guys that booked work there. There was one. In fact, my brother Mike and I were just talking about this. There was a guy. First of all, Ken Muller booked a lot of stuff in that area.
Oh, I know Ken.
So I worked for Ken Muller for a while. But before I worked for Ken, I worked for this guy named Jeff Connor. And he was partners with another guy named Fletcher. Not many guys heard of him. Only a few guys worked for him. My brother Mike and I worked for him. The guy was an asshole. I mean, he was a complete ass. And he screwed over a lot of people. I wasn't one of them, though. I somehow got through. He gave me a check once for like $1,500. And I drove home to Chicago, and I'm like, this check is never going to clear. I'm so screwed, but it did.
That's a horrible feeling.
Oh, it's the worst. But I was always lucky with him. And the reason, because of that, though, I always worked for him. I always went back and worked for him. So, and when I did that, Kenny wouldn't let me work for him. He's like, I can't work you if you work for him because he's in the same city. So I got it. I'm like, whatever. You have a business to run.
Right.
So, but long story short, my brother Mike, we were wondering where that guy was. My brother Mike saw him on TV. He was the ring announcer for Sugar Ray Leonard's TV show. He had a fight show, some sort of fight show years ago.
Huh.
And Jeff was the
I kind of remember that, yeah.
Yeah. But Jeff fell off the face of the earth because he screwed a lot of people over, owed a lot of money, comics, and corporate business.
So rare. So rare for a comedy booker to do that.
For a booker? Huh? I know, it's weird. He's like the one guy ever to screw everybody over in the industry.
Yeah.
They're so pleasant.
They're so honest, yeah.
Yeah.
They're almost like the Amish.
I feel bad for him. Almost like the He is. He's like an honest guy. So bad. Okay, I got the favorite place. That's good. Okay, that's good. Oh, what are you doing? Well, I think I know the answer to this, but what are you doing lately? Have you been back on stage yet during COVID? You had the surgery first in August of last year, right?
Right.
So are you getting back out?
I was on stage about a month ago, and I just hosted a show I produced, and hosted. I do a lot more of that because I wasn't trying not to travel as much. But other than that, no, it's been, I haven't been on stage. I haven't done my act in over a year, which is really weird.
Yeah, right.
In fact, the other day, I don't know, I used to have these really weird dreams that I got the Tonight Show, and I would always be like this. I'd be in the audience at the Tonight Show. Did you ever see the Tonight Show with Johnny live? Did you ever go?
Oh, live? No, never live. No.
No, live. Yeah, all right. I got to go see him live a couple times.
Oh, that would have been great.
And I had these weird I would have these dreams that I was in the audience and someone didn't show up. And I would go up to Johnny and say, "Hey, I'm here. I can do the show if you need me." And then they would always say, "Yeah, we need you." And then I would get on stage. And this was the most horrific thing because it's not like I forgot all my material. I remember the setups and I forgot the punchlines. And as I'm getting closer to the punchline, I'm going, I don't know how this ends. Just a horrible nightmare.
Oh, that's bad.
So the other day, not having performed in so long, I had a dream that I was working and I couldn't remember any of my act. And then when I woke up, I was like, I don't even remember how I start my show, let alone how I get it. I can remember chunks of like, oh, I talk about this, different subjects, but I didn't know how I got from bit to bit to bit. So literally I've been driving around at night. I recorded a CD about 4 years ago and I never put it out. I don't know why. I am one of the laziest guys. I am a total procrastinator.
Okay, really? Yeah, 4 years.
I am. I'm bad. Yeah. I mean, I have a million ideas. I actually shot a film. See, I didn't even finish the story yet, but I shot a film called Quitter. You could see if you go on YouTube and look up Nick Gaza Quitter, I shot a documentary film. I have like 23 hours of footage of me quitting my dream in show business. And I interviewed people. I drove across the country and would see a guy cutting his grass. I'd pull over. I had one camera guy with me and I would interview people. What was your dream? What happened? Why didn't you attain your dream? And I just never finished. It's sitting in my closet. 23 hours of footage. So anyways, lately I've been driving around at night and I put my CD in and I just to listen to my act to see how I, do my act. So like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll go for a ride, just cruise around my town and listen to my act.
And listen to your CD? No, that's smart. Well, I listen to old tapes. I tape all my shows. So
every show you do, even now, every show you tape.
Every show. Sometimes I listen. Wow. Sometimes I don't listen. Sometimes I'll be like, that went well or whatever. But a lot of times,
did you save them then?
I used to save all of them, and now I don't save all of them. I'll save ones that are relevant. Like sometimes, when I did the last CD or the last album, I had to. I'm sorry. When I did the last album, I worked on the material, especially the second one, because the second one I had all new material, so I wrote a lot for that one. So going into it. I would, and the month before the taping is miserable because every show I tape and listen and analyze. I got so sick of my fucking voice. I mean, I got so annoyed, and then after you're done taping it, I got to edit it. So they send me the tracks and then I got to go through the time codes. By the time I'm done editing, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Then I won't listen to myself for like 2 months. I'm like, I can't listen to fucking, I'm sick of me. I'm sick of my words, my voice, all of it. I'm looking for hang on. I'm looking for your Nick.
I have really nice hair, don't I, Lenny? You have nice hair too, don't you? Or no?
Not with this hat on.
It thinned out after my surgery. Some of the medications they put me on.
Yeah.
But thank God it's coming back. I do well with my hair.
Dude, I can show I have the Quitter trailer right here. Let me see if I can find it.
Go ahead. You want to show it?
Yeah, let's show it, man. Let's do it. Let me get it up here. Hold on. Yeah. All right, we're almost there. This is great. I'm glad you brought that up. I looked around everywhere for, excuse me. So you got 23 hours of footage?
I do.
Dude,
23 hours.
I know you're a procrastinator because the last, like, say, 15 months, it's been a pretty good amount of time. You've had some time. You know what I mean? To do, it's like we can't go anywhere and do anything. You literally
remember I had a tube coming out of my chest, sucking blood out of my chest. So I really wasn't in the mood to work for a while.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, that's right. I stand corrected. All right, where is it? Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this the way I wanted to. Yes, I am. Hold on. All right, I'm almost there. Hold on. I got a better idea.
You're going to describe it to people.
No, I want to do it so that here we go. Oh, here we go.
It was really neat. I really should finish it and edit it.
Perfect. There we go. Found it. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's do this. All right, man. This is Nick's trailer. It's called Quitter. That's what it's called here. And let's do it this way so that we can do it properly. Here we go. Hold on. And there's Nick. And we're good. Okay. Nick, say something. I want to make sure I still got you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're good.
I'm talking now.
All right, buddy. Here we go. We're going to play for
All right.
up.
Nick's an actor and a comedian, and he's quitting Hollywood, and you're traveling across the country making a documentary about the fact you're quitting.
Dude, I love the music already.
My name is Nick Gaza. I'm a stand-up comic and an actor. I've been in Hollywood for 17 years.
Oh, baby, don't you want to
I've decided to quit, move back home to East Chicago, Indiana.
back to the land of California, to my sweet home, Chicago.
I'm just talking to people along the way, what their dreams were when they were younger, what they wanted to be, did they achieve those dreams, and if they ever had, quit anything that they really loved and realized it wasn't happening and it was time to move on and, make myself feel better, I guess, for my decision. You'll
That's
never
what I
give
mean.
up, will you?
I won't give up. When you give up, there's no chance. Keep pursuing it, and there's a chance, no matter how small or big. When you give up, it's over.
I've never had help so much in my career as of the time when I chose to quit.
Yeah, figures, doesn't it?
This is it. This is the block I grew up on.
Oh, my sonny boy,
2,333 miles.
The odyssey is over.
That's great.
So those people that you saw, literally, I would, like I said, there would be a guy cutting his grass and I'd just pull over and explain what I was doing. And it was amazing. People would just open up to me and tell me what they wanted to do. And like I said, as I said, a big part of it was trying to make myself feel better for leaving,
Right. The big phone. First of all, that's a great idea, and you should definitely finish that. That's amazing. That's really cool.
I'll get right on that.
No, you got to do it, man. That's great. I love that idea. So that's when you moved back home. When was this? What year was this?
I moved back in 2006.
Okay.
So, and I mean, I obviously I'm still a stand-up comic, and I kind of, the quitting part and the giving up was the big dream of, becoming a TV star.
Right.
Why we all moved out there, right?
Sure.
So, and it's interesting how life works out, because I came home, I missed, as you miss so much stuff, and I come from a very tight knit, Polish, Romanian, Hungarian family that all the weddings you miss and the funerals and all that,
Right.
and just being on the road, let alone living far away and being on the road. And then I got to spend like the last 12 years of my grandmother's life with her, and she lived to be 98. And I would literally go there every day for a couple hours and hang out with her. So, I don't know, maybe that's what was supposed to happen in the big picture anyways. Would it have been nice to be rich and famous? Sure. But, I would have missed out on all that though.
Yeah, but you also, I think about this a lot now. This last year made me think about it a lot, quality of life is a big deal, man. It's quality of life it's really important, and I don't think people. I mean, people. I'm sure they might realize in some aspect that to be in the arts, you sacrifice stuff and you have to commit yourself. But I don't think people really understand how much sacrifice is involved, especially at the beginning. When first of all, at the beginning, you're not getting any money. So I mean, you're giving up everything to do whatever. But to move, chase a dream, go to a different town, and then especially in L.A. And then the older you get, you understand the business more, too. There's a whole culture out here about living in L.A. and being an L.A. act, an L.A. comic, an L.A. person. And I think the older you get, it becomes less appealing. It does for me. You know what I mean? It does for me, and
I think I became a much better comic once I moved back. I started talking more about, when you're out there, all you're doing is you second guess. At least I was.
Yeah.
Everything was, what will they like? What will they like? What can I do that they'll like? And once I moved away, it's like, what makes me laugh? What do I like? And that relays much better on stage to the audience. I mean, it's just more, you know, there's, you know, Chicago, there's real character people that live here that you could draw from, you know?
Right. Well, like we were talking earlier, in Michigan, blue collar people. There's people,
Right.
people like you. Well, honestly, people like you and me, dude. I grew up in the Midwest. I grew
Right.
up in Chicago,
Yeah.
South Side. You know, my dad
Yeah.
was a truck driver.
Yeah.
My mom worked.
Yeah.
My mom was a meat wrapper, butcher. You know, so it came from that atmosphere. You know, so you're right. It just changes when you come out here. But then also at some point out here, it seems like not just sacrifice, but it kind of seems like you're giving yourself away on some levels. You know what I mean? To be out here. You know what I'm saying? To go to
Sure.
So I respect you for that, man. That's huge to be able to do that. And times have changed too, where, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do now. Like I learned in the last year doing this podcast that I have a lot more control over what I'm doing than I think I do, you know?
Sure.
So,
well, now,
yes.
especially with podcasts and this kind of stuff, I mean, you could really take control. And, you know, it's interesting too. You realize, you know, you only need so much in life. You know what I mean? You need 10 cars or whatever, you know, you just need a good working car. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to lie. It'd be nice to, you know, it would have been nice to get on a TV show and be a, you know, hit. The thing I think would have been the most fun, and it's not really the money or even the fame, it would be to have become famous enough to draw in clubs to where people come out to see you. And you're like, because you've worked with guys who are famous, obviously.
Yeah.
And I've worked with guys who were not famous and then became famous. And the difference is once the audience knows you and loves you like that, they give you so much more freedom to be an artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Seinfeld always says, yeah, you still got to get them to laugh. You know, yeah, that's true. But it is so much easier when they're coming to see you, when they already know who they're coming to see.
Sure. Well, you can feel the electricity in a room when a name. I mean, I did a couple of nights ago. I worked with Jay Leno a couple of nights ago. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, you know, the room's packed, and he walks in, and the place is like, holy shit, Jay Leno's here. You know, it's, you know, so everybody's jacked up. You know, so yeah, it's different.
I remember I worked with Bobcat Goldthwait, and I was in Chicago at the Improv in Schaumburg. And I went up, and I'm only doing 25 minutes, and I just smoked. I just, you know, everything is boom, boom, boom. I just crushed. And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, follow that. You know, you think and within seconds, they forgot who I was because they were there to see him.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah,
that's the way it works.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it was a good lesson and humbling to go, no, you could kill. Man, they don't care. They're here to see that.
They'll step over you to get to their table. Yes. Hey, you were really. Hey, is that Jay Leno? Is that Bobcat? Excuse me.
Right.
You know. Just run away.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I think, dude, I have a ton of respect to that. If I sometimes when I started doing ships, my perspective on a lot of things changed. Because like I said, I'm on ships because I kind of have to be, you know, and I like the work and I make the best of it. So my theory was when I got on ships, I'm like, well, then I'm just going to be the best comic I can be. And I wrote a lot of material and did the best I could. But I stay in L.A. because of my daughters. When I got divorced, they moved to Chicago and they wanted to come back here. And so I kind of promised them I'd stay here to set them up to move on. Like Anna goes to college here. So, because I'm constantly saying, hey, you know, we could move. I go, there's a lot. We could move to... There's like, I'm looking at Vegas. There's other places I can look at to go, smaller towns, you know.
Sure.
I go, we can move out of here. They're like, no, we want to stay here. No. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, we'll stay.
Well, yeah. What kid doesn't want to live in Southern California, right?
Yeah, I know. Sometimes my mom is too. She's like, they're your kids. You should just go. Remember when you were a kid and I just moved? I'm like, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing what I want, what the kids want. You know, it's part of the reason I'm not doing that to them.
Right.
You know, if I can at least set them up to get a life started out here, and then because my thing is, I tell them this all the time. I've learned this from doing cruise ships. When they're out of college and get their shit together, I might get out of here and go to Mexico. I love Mexico. It's cheap to live down there. Yeah. I can buy some land down there.
And the people are great.
Yeah, there's a couple of different.
We're talking about the Irish people. I go to this island, Isla Mujeres. It's a small little island off of Cancun.
Yeah.
It's only like 2 miles long and like a half a mile wide.
Oh, that sounds great.
And we go there. I've been going there for years now, and I literally had people invite me into their home for dinner. Just did not even know me. I was like looking for a restaurant. They're like, "Oh, it's closed, but if you want to come in and eat dinner,
come on over. Yeah, there's a couple guys in Cozumel I know that are like that. That just you want to spend the night? I go, no, I'm good. I'll go get a hotel. No, you can stay here. And I'm like, no, they set me up with a hotel from the ship. I'm good.
Right.
Are you sure? Yeah. And then I think Geechee Guy for a while was living over in Playa del Carmen. I want to say that's where he was at. He bought a couple houses over there. Yeah, and I heard that's a great. In fact, in that town, from what I understand, there's a lot of former cruise ship entertainers and a lot of artists that live there, performing artists that live there and do shows and stuff in the Playa del Carmen area. At least that's what I'd heard. So.
That town really exploded in the last. I went there 20 years ago, and we literally went to a restaurant where you. It's horrible when you think about it, but you know how you go to a seafood restaurant and pick your lobster out of a tank?
Right.
You picked your chicken out of the cage and they wrung its neck and cooked it. They plucked it and cooked it for you fresh.
Seriously?
It was crazy. But that's 20 years ago. That's how that town was, and now it's huge, totally built up.
Yeah, it's really big.
We have 2 whorehouses.
Wow. No, I don't know what I'm. See, I need to get out of this town. Stupid kids.
Damn kids.
All right, man. Well, dude, I think we're gonna go. This is a little over an hour, man. This was good. This was great.
Okay,
dude. Thanks for the back end. That perspective is really great. I love that, man. It's quality of life is such a big deal, and I think in the last year I've learned so much more about that, living in the moment and realizing the things that are important. And this last year was a great lesson for that. I spent more time with my daughters this last year than I have in the last 10 years. So when you get to see family and spend time with family and be with people that you care about, that's more important than people give it credit sometimes. And it's surprising how quickly people throw it away. I know people that have thrown it away and move here and barely talk to their families anymore, and I don't know how you can do that.
I get it. You know what? I always tell young comics, you're like, should I move to LA or New York? I'm like, yes, go. You should always chase your dreams, but there should be a time where you go, you know what? Just as important as chasing your dream is spending, like I said, spending those years with my grandmother, till the end, and being able to take care of her and be a part of her life again. I live 5 blocks from my best friend I've been best friends with this guy since kindergarten.
Yeah.
And I saw his kids grow up now because, people don't realize how much you give, especially as a comic, because you're traveling all the time too. You're not just moving to LA or moving somewhere else. You're not even there. You're on the road, So yeah, as you get older, you're, what you need and want in life change.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, and besides the social media aspect of it, I always try to teach my kids. I'm like, if you can find a way to make money in the arts, you can be a working artist or comic and live back in Chicago or live in Indiana and live somewhere else and make a living and go out and do stuff and still not have to stay in LA or New York. You know what I mean? There's no reason why you can't live in a small town. It's tough because you travel, but at least you get to come back home. Man, coming home is great then. I love coming home. Then you're coming home. That's real home.
Well, and being able to afford an actual home.
That's another aspect of it too. I'll never buy anything out here, dude.
I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how the average guy. I don't know how like a plumber or an electrician, a decent tradesman, can live out there.
No, it's.
I bought an apartment building in a suburb of Chicago for half the price of a house in Burbank, California.
Right. Yeah, that's brilliant.
So
it's a smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's our house prices are crazy out here right now. They're just getting worse. I mean, the average.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's tell you, the median price out here is in the high 600,000s or whatever. But in my neighborhood, it's a little over $1 million. These houses in this neighborhood, So.
I looked just to see. I thought, maybe I'll go back and get into acting again. And I lived in Burbank the whole time I was in California, and I looked for an apartment, I could not find a 1-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood for under $2,000 a month.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
I ain't willing to spend that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money.
Right. No, and I got a good deal where I'm at. I got my place it's a 2-bedroom. I'm only paying like $22 for it. It's a steal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a steal in this neighborhood.
That's amazing.
And I got a brother that's got
crazy,
a house in South Dakota, and his mortgage is $275. It's 5-bedroom house, huge yard. Barn and a garage. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and you could go out from your porch and shoot your gun, and no one cares.
Yeah, doors are unlocked, dude. Doors are unlocked all the time. Right. We were there, and everything. The car keys are in the car. Everybody's got their keys. You know what I mean? It's just it's like Mayberry.
Right.
It's insane.
Right.
And the older, I don't know if it's because I got older or what it was, but the more I look around, I'm going, man, this would not be bad. I could live with this.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally like even the littlest thing I do now is I I was over for a while. I lived in West Hollywood, and then when I got kids, I moved into the Valley. And everywhere I live in the Valley, I try to find the quietest place. You know, I like quiet, man. I don't need to be right near the Strip or the chaos. I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. I'm thinking of moving. Honestly, in the next year, a couple of years. We've been looking at North Carolina. I want at least, a couple acres of land around me.
Yeah, that's nice.
I want to be able to walk around naked without getting complaints again.
Complaints again. See, that's a good thing to aspire to. You know what I mean? Screw the sitcom. Who knows?
Right.
That's going to be more valuable to you in the years later. Is walking around naked again.
I have a new show coming out. It's called Naked and You're Afraid.
Oh, Nick Gaza, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody give Nick Gaza a round of applause. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Hey, before we get out of here, man, do you want to plug anything? I know you have a CD you never released. Do you have anything out there people can find?
You know what? I think I'm going to release the CD now. I honestly, I've been listening to it. I'm like, you know what? I really should put this out there.
Yeah.
I have a title for it. It's called Nick Gaza, Pray for Me.
I love that. All right, that's perfect. That's good. That's awesome.
Right,
also, if you're watching the show still, Nick is on the July 7th show. That's going to be at Rosemont Zanies, man. We're going to do that. We're going to have a lot of fun. It'll be me, my brother Mike, Nick, a whole bunch of other comics, Patty Vasquez, Brian Hicks, and I don't know who else is on the show yet, but I'll get it locked up. But you'll be there for sure. So
I will be there.
Yeah, it'll be great. Dude, good to see you. Thank you for doing the show, man. I really appreciate it. I wish you the best.
And real quick, if people, they can friend me on Facebook at Nick Gaza Comedian, or my website is nickygaza.com.
Got it. And I'll put all that stuff in the bio afterwards so that people watch the video. They can look right below this video, and the links will all be right there. Perfect?
Sounds good.
All right, man. All right,
Thanks
Nick. Thanks,
lot,
buddy. Take care, buddy. I'll see you in a few weeks.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, buddy. All right, that's Nick Gaza. Look at that, man. Just hearing the words Nick Gaza naked made my stomach upset a little bit. I was going to have dinner. Now I am afraid. You guys are great. Thank you all for being here, man. Again, if you enjoy the show, do me a favor, man. Subscribe. Look, there's my face. Click it. Subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. If you're still watching the show, that means that you enjoy it. Let me cover this. This podcast I started a little over a year ago to talk to artists and comedians and entertainers and all kinds of people that are dealing with COVID and what they did and how they got through the last few years or the last year or the last few months. And it's been great, but this show's coming to an end on August 5th. I won't be doing this podcast anymore after August 5th, and I'll come back with a brand new podcast in October, and I'll change things around a little bit then. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up between now and in the next 8 weeks or so. My last show will be August 5th. Julia Bendis will be on the last show. I thought it would be accurate to have her on because she's been on the show so many times. And everyone that supports the show on a regular basis, Don't Robbie, I see you're here. We're going to be in Chicago in a few weeks, Robbie. So we'll see you. If you can come out on the 7th for the podcast recording, be there. And then Mike will be there for the weekend for the shows. If you can, where was I going with this? If you watch the show regularly, I'll have a new podcast. Things will be all I'm going to keep doing different things. There's all kinds of stuff I'm going to be doing. It's going to be awesome. And Reconnecting Comedy is going to stick around. Reconnecting Comedy this weekend. I didn't mention it. This Saturday, 6 o'clock Pacific. Reconnecting Comedy, which is my live streaming sketch, improv, interactive show that we do right here live on the intraweb. So check it out. There'll be information for that up tomorrow. There you go. Thanks again for watching the show. If you want to throw some money at it, there you go. There it is. Lenny Schmidt. Wait. LennySchmidtComedy if you can. Go there and you can hit any one of those aspects to support the show financially. So thank you guys for being here. You guys have been the best. Thank you so much for everything. It's kind of cool. I'm coming to the end of doing the show, and I've had the supporters watching the show now. I know you guys are watching it. I love you guys. You're the best. You've been here from day one, and I can't believe you tune in all the time. I'm really happy about that. So thank you very much. And if you enjoy the show, come back and catch us on Wednesday. We'll be here Wednesday. I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourselves. As always, dream of Pinky.
Lenny Schmidt Quarantine Comedy was created, produced, and is hosted by Lenny Schmidt. We live stream on YouTube at 6 p.m. Pacific every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Special episodes occasionally stream or are uploaded on Tuesday and Thursday. Every episode is also launched as a podcast and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video. If you really like it, share the video. If you really, really like it, please subscribe to the Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. You'll get updates on this and numerous other online comedy content that my dad produces. Check the info section below for detailed information on all of our guests. If you are a fan, you can follow and support them as well. Go to their page, like their content, buy their albums, purchase their shirt, any merch they may be selling. Anything you do will support performers, will literally help save the arts. In fact, if you want to support this show financially, just go to LennySchmidt.com/ifyoucan or Venmo at LennySchmidtComedy. If you donate as little as $1 or as much as $10,000, it will help pay for the stuff my dad keeps breaking. If you can't pay for the comedy content, that's okay. COVID sucks for all of us. Enjoy the free show. If you want to find a way to support what we do, just subscribe to Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. That really helps a lot. Thank you for listening to my dad's show, and as always, dream of Pinky.